Today we're going to talk about two very important parts of a lot of medium format camera systems. Prism finders and waist level finders. We're going to talk about each, when you use them, and why you would want to choose one over the other. With most medium format camera systems, whether you have something like a Mamiya or a Hasselblad, they're designed around a modular principle, if you will, in that they have a lens, a camera body, a film magazine, and then some way to view the image while you're taking the photo. These cameras can do this in two different ways, either with a Prism finder, which takes the image that's coming up to you from the focusing screen itself and gives you an eyepiece that you can kind of put your eye up to and see like a normal camera, if you will. The other thing that they can often have is something called a waist level finder, which has this fun little hood, if you will, and I'm struggling because this one is Mamiya and not very well made compared to Hasselblad, but it pops up something like that, and it allows you to look down through this finder and see a projected image of what you're looking at. And I don't know if you'll
be able to see that in the other camera view a little bit, maybe. You can see that there's that image projected
through there. Now, this can be good if you're walking around taking street photos, because as the camera's hanging on your neck, you can just look down and kind of see your image and what it's going to look like. The challenging thing about this, though, is that medium format cameras like these have very, very shallow depth of field, and it can sometimes be very difficult to accurately focus looking at the image in that way. And so this is a waist level finder from a Hasselblad, and you'll notice that it has this little pop-up magnifying glass that helps you see the image that's being projected a little bit better. Now, I'm going to walk you through the differences between both Mamiya and Hasselblad and how you interchange from a waist level finder and a Prism finder with both systems. So the Mamiya in some ways is a little bit more simple because you can exchange the finder without having to take off the film back. With a Hasselblad, you have to take off the film back in order to be able to change the finder. With Mamiya, however, on the RB, there's this plate up at the front that has the title on it, and it slides back and forth, and all that does is unlocks, and then you can lift this out. And so what you have is the bare focusing screen itself right here, and you can actually lift that out itself, and you can see the mirror in there. And on many cameras, you can exchange your focusing screen based on your style and preferences. So for the Mamiya, again, all you have to do is unlock that, and then you can lift that off, and then you can put the Prism finder onto the camera body and lock it back into place. And as soon as you do that, you're ready to take photos, really. You can immediately put it up to your eye and start using it like you would imagine. And again, you can remove it and switch back in much the same way. It's very fast, easy to use. The Hasselblad, however, is a little bit slower to exchange them, but I find that the Hasselblad system generally has a lot tighter fit and finish, so it's worth it. So for the Hasselblad, you have to take off the film magazine, which means you need to make sure that your dark slide is inserted first. You always want to make sure your dark slide is inserted. Not only will this protect any unexposed film that's in your magazine, in addition, Hasselblad has mechanically engineered a fail-safe so that if the dark slide is not inserted, you cannot take the film back off. So if you're pushing the button and can't figure out why the film back won't come off, you might not have your dark slide in. So check that. It's always good to check that. So once you have your dark slide in, you can push the button and remove the film back from the Hasselblad. Once you do that, you're left with the body and the finder, and that just slides directly out the back. Then you can take the waist level finder, slide it on, it clicks into place gently, and then you can take the film back and put it on the camera. And then you can pop up the waist level finder like that and use the magnifying glass if you'd like. The waist level finder
Just folds back
very simply. It's a great accessory. I find it very challenging to use, especially when doing very accurate focusing for portraits and such. So for me, I like the option of having
a
prism finder for my camera as well. It's very cheap. This one was only about $100 from my Hasselblad, so it greatly increases the ability to use the camera in a very flexible way by having both options. So that is prism finders and waist level finders for both Hasselblad and Mamiya explained.